Before you fall asleep tonight, ask yourself, could your bedtime routine actually be shortening your life without you knowing? Over 70,000 older adults die in their sleep every year, and most people think it's just part of aging. But science says otherwise. It's not your age that puts you at risk, it's your nightly habits. In this video, we're revealing 5 deadly sleep mistakes that millions of seniors still make, mistakes that are 100% preventable starting tonight. So, hit like, subscribe, and let's uncover the truth that could protect your heart, your brain, and your future. By the way, what's one thing you always do before bed that you're not sure is actually good for you? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your routine.
Welcome to Stories True Health, where real stories meet real science. Guided by Dr. True, we uncover the hidden truths behind aging healing and the choices that shape our future.
Dr. Michael Rowen had seen a lot in his 45 years of practicing internal medicine. From his early days treating soldiers during his military service to his current role leading a geriatric clinic in rural Minnesota, he had witnessed a truth that few people like to talk about. Many seniors don't die from disease, but from what happens quietly in the night. One afternoon, while reviewing fall incident data at his clinic, Dr. Rowen paused at a troubling pattern. An increasing number of older patients were being hospitalized, not because of illness, but because of something they all had in common: poor sleep habits. Most of these patients hadn't been diagnosed with sleep disorders. They weren't on dangerous drugs. Yet something in their nightly routines was tipping the balance toward catastrophe. People think sleep is passive, he said in one of his community lectures. But for older adults, sleep is one of the most dynamic and risky times of the day. As we age, our body's internal systems lose efficiency. The heart becomes less adaptive, blood vessels stiffen, the kidneys filter more slowly, and the brain becomes more sensitive to interruptions. Even something as simple as getting up to use the bathroom can become a physiological event. According to a 2022 report by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, over 36 million falls are reported annually among older adults, many occurring at night. The reasons aren't just poor eyesight or bad luck. They often stem from disrupted sleep cycles, dehydration, sudden posture changes, and medications that interfere with balance. More alarmingly, the CDC also notes that more than 70,000 older adults die in their sleep each year. Many of those deaths attributed not to disease, but to what experts now call lifestyle-induced sleep vulnerability. Dr. Rowen began paying closer attention. He started documenting subtle nightly routines in his elderly patients: what they drank when they ate, how warm their bedrooms were, what positions they slept in, whether they snored or not. He found clear patterns. A patient named Carol, age 74, had suffered a concussion after a fall in her bathroom at 2 a.m. She had drunk a full glass of water before bed to stay hydrated, but the urgency of her bladder had pushed her upright too fast, sending her crashing to the floor. Another, a veteran like himself named Dennis, had been experiencing chronic brain fog and fatigue. Turned out Dennis had undiagnosed sleep apnea, worsened by sleeping flat on his back and in a room heated to 75-degree Fahrenheit. We're not taught to question these things, Dr. Rowen said. But we should, because what used to be harmless isn't harmless anymore, at 70. His approach became methodical: adjust, one variable at a time, reduce fluids in the evening, keep bedroom temperatures below 68 degrees Celsius. Test for sleep apnea, counsel on meal timing. Patients began to report better sleep, clearer mornings, and fewer nighttime incidents. A 2020 study from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society reinforced what Dr. Rowen saw firsthand: even minor changes in sleep environment and routine can significantly reduce fall risk, cognitive decline, and cardiovascular strain in seniors. As he wrapped up his last appointment that Friday, Dr. Rowen turned back to his notes on Carol and Dennis. These weren't just isolated cases, they were warning signs for all older adults. The problem wasn't age itself, it was silence. The things no one talks about before bedtime. And it all started with what seemed like a harmless glass of water. That's where Chapter 2 begins. The midnight trip that changed everything. It was 2:17 a.m. when Carol fell. The motion sensor in her hallway didn't trigger in time, and her slipper caught the corner of a hallway rug. She had risen too quickly, her blood pressure dipped, and within seconds she was unconscious on the tile floor. Carol, a retired schoolteacher and grandmother of 5, had always been cautious. She took her medications on time, went for daily walks, and never missed a checkup. But one habit had escaped her notice. She drank a tall glass of water right before bed, believing it was good for her kidneys. That single habit changed everything. For seniors, hydration is a balancing act. While water is essential for cellular function, joint lubrication, and blood volume, drinking large amounts right before sleep poses risks. As people age, the bladder's capacity decreases, and the kidneys slow their filtration rate. Compounding the problem, the brain's signals for urgency become more abrupt. That's why older adults often wake up suddenly feeling the intense need to urinate, what doctors refer to as nocturia. According to a 2016 study in the Journal of Urology, nocturia affects up to 80% of individuals over 70 and is directly associated with increased risk of falls, fractures, and even mortality. These late-night awakenings not only interrupt vital deep sleep stages, but they also require physical movement when the body is least ready for it. Dr. Rowen had warned Carol during her previous visit to cut back on fluids 2 hours before bedtime. But like many of his patients, she underestimated the potential danger. She now found herself recovering from a mild concussion and a fractured wrist in the local hospital. It felt so harmless, she told Dr. Rowen. Just a glass of water. I never thought I could hurt myself trying to stay healthy. That's the paradox many seniors face. The things they've done, their whole lives may no longer serve them safely. Even small disruptions in sleep, particularly during the deep NREM stages, can impair memory consolidation, elevate inflammation, and increase the risk of cardiovascular strain. And when the interruption involves standing up quickly in the dark while half awake, the body's delayed reaction time makes a fall almost inevitable. The fix, thankfully, is simple, but requires consistency. Dr. Rowen now tells his patients to drink more during the first half of the day, and gradually taper off in the evening. If thirst persists at night, a few small sips are fine, but no more full glasses. He also recommends motion-activated nightlights, non-slip slippers, and removing rugs that might trip aging feet. Carol's story spread quickly through Dr. Rowen's clinic, prompting many of his patients to rethink their bedtime habits. And yet, water wasn't the only silent culprit hiding in plain sight. As Dr. Rowen prepared for his next consultation, he flipped through his notes on another patient, a man who complained of heartburn and restlessness nearly every night. His issue wasn't hydration, it was dinner. And that story unfolds in Chapter 3, The Dinner Dilemma, When Comfort Turns Risky. When Harold, age 72, came to Dr. Rowen complaining of persistent heartburn and restless nights, he assumed it was just part of aging. I eat a little something before bed, he admitted, usually mac and cheese or a peanut butter sandwich. Helps me sleep. But instead of soothing him, those late-night snacks were silently compromising both his sleep and his long-term health. As we age, digestion slows significantly. The muscles in the digestive tract become less coordinated. Stomach acid production may change, and the body takes longer to process food. When a heavy or high-fat meal is consumed too close to bedtime, the digestive system doesn't get the downtime it needs to rest and repair. Instead, it stays active, leading to discomfort, interrupted sleep, and more serious conditions like gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. For seniors, lying down after eating can easily trigger acid reflux, stomach acid creeping up into the esophagus, often without symptoms at first. According to a study published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology, individuals who eat within 3 hours of bedtime are significantly more likely to experience nighttime reflux and its complications, including esophageal inflammation and even aspiration pneumonia if acid reaches the lungs. Harold's symptoms, burning in the chest, coughing during the night, and frequent waking, were classic signs. But there was more beneath the surface. Dr. Rowen explained that nighttime eating not only affects digestion, but also blood sugar and heart health. Meals heavy in refined carbohydrates or sugar cause a spike in glucose followed by a crash during the night, which can trigger adrenaline and disrupt sleep cycles. Worse, research in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism shows that late-night meals can lead to higher morning insulin levels and sustained glucose elevations, which over time increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. There's also a vascular consequence. The body's blood pressure normally dips during deep sleep, giving the heart a chance to rest. But when digestion is active, especially after salty or fatty meals, that drop is blunted. Instead of relaxing, the cardiovascular system remains stimulated. This non-dipping pattern, especially common in older adults, is linked to a greater risk of stroke and heart attack. Dr. Rowen advised Harold to adjust his dinner schedule, eating at least 3 hours before bedtime, and choosing lighter, heart-friendly meals with lean protein and vegetables. For true hunger later in the evening, a banana, a handful of unsalted almonds, or a spoon of plain yogurt would satisfy without overloading the system. Within 2 weeks, Harold noticed improvement. His heartburn subsided, his sleep became more restful, and the morning fatigue he'd grown used to began to fade. His story served as a reminder that comfort foods can be comforting in the moment, but risky in the long term, especially when eaten at the wrong time. Yet Harold's case wasn't unique. In fact, Dr. Rowen had just begun investigating another subtle but powerful factor impacting senior sleep: how people position themselves when they finally close their eyes. And that's the focus of Chapter 4, Posture and Pressure, the hidden cost of how we sleep. Dr. Rowen had long believed that the way seniors sleep could tell him more about their health than a blood test. His suspicion deepened when he reviewed the overnight monitor results of Margaret, a 76-year-old patient who complained of morning headaches and fatigue. She slept on her back every night, propped up by 2 pillows, believing it helped her breathe better. But instead of relief, her symptoms were signs of something more concerning. Sleep posture plays a significant role in how the body functions during rest. As people age, muscle tone weakens, the airway becomes more collapsible, and breathing can become compromised depending on how the head and body are positioned. Lying flat on the back or in a supine position can cause the tongue and soft tissues in the throat to fall backward, narrowing the airway and increasing the risk of obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, a condition where breathing stops repeatedly during the night. According to a study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine, back sleeping increases the likelihood and severity of OSA by up to 50% in older adults compared to side sleeping. Oxygen levels drop, forcing the heart to work harder, and over time this stress contributes to hypertension, memory loss, and cardiovascular disease. Margaret's oxygen saturation had dipped below 90% multiple times during the night, without her even realizing it. In addition to breathing concerns, back sleeping can worsen acid reflux, especially in individuals with a hiatal hernia or weakened esophageal muscles. Gravity no longer keeps stomach acid in place, making it easier for it to rise into the esophagus. Repeated episodes of silent reflux can damage the lining and even increase the risk of esophageal cancer. The position of sleep also affects the brain's ability to clear toxins. A 2015 study from Stony Brook University using MRI imaging found that the brain's glymphatic system, responsible for flushing out waste, including beta-amyloid proteins linked to Alzheimer's, works more efficiently when sleeping on one side, particularly the left. Sleeping on the left side also promotes better circulation, supports digestion, and reduces pressure on major blood vessels. When Dr. Rowen suggested Margaret switch to left-side sleeping, she was hesitant at first. It felt unnatural. But with a body pillow for support and an orthopedic neck cushion to keep her head aligned, she gradually adapted. Within weeks, her morning headaches diminished and her energy levels improved. For seniors, even small tweaks in sleep position can yield outsized benefits. But Dr. Rowen knew posture was only one piece of the puzzle. His next concern lay in 2 things, many dismissed as a harmless: snoring and the occasional sleeping pill. As he prepared a presentation for his community center, he scribbled in bold letters, "Snoring isn't harmless, and neither is that little white pill." That powerful truth unfolds in Chapter 5. Snoring isn't harmless, and neither is that little white pill. To most people, snoring is just an annoyance, a sound you joke about or tolerate with earplugs. But to Dr. Rowen, it was a siren. One of his longtime patients, George, 81, came in with complaints of extreme fatigue despite getting 8 hours of sleep. His wife noted he had started snoring louder and sometimes seemed to stop breathing for seconds at a time. What sounded like typical aging turned out to be a classic case of untreated obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, a dangerous and often ignored condition. Snoring occurs when airflow through the nose or mouth is partially blocked during sleep, causing the surrounding tissues to vibrate. While common, especially in older adults, chronic loud snoring often signals a more serious issue, OSA. This condition causes breathing to repeatedly stop and start throughout the night, leading to sharp drops in oxygen levels. The heart responds by pumping harder, raising blood pressure, and stressing the cardiovascular system. A study from the Sleep Heart Health Study found that untreated sleep apnea raises the risk of fatal heart attacks by 30% and strokes by as much as 60% in older adults. Over time, this nightly struggle for air can lead to memory problems, mood disorders, and cognitive decline that mimics early dementia. George's sleep tests revealed he was experiencing more than 20 apneic episodes per hour, enough to disrupt his body's ability to enter deep restorative sleep. In parallel, Dr. Rowen noticed another common danger among seniors seeking better sleep reliance on sleeping pills. Medications like benzodiazepines or Z drugs are often prescribed for insomnia, but they carry serious risks for older adults. These drugs can cause dizziness, confusion, slower reaction times, and increase the risk of falls and fractures. According to research in the British Medical Journal, seniors using these medications regularly have a higher chance of premature death, especially when mixed with other sedatives or alcohol. Worse, they mask the symptoms of underlying issues like sleep apnea without treating the cause. So, what can seniors do to sleep better, safely? First, address snoring seriously. If you or your partner notice gasping, choking, or frequent waking, speak to your doctor about getting a sleep study. Treatments like CPAP therapy or even simple position training, avoiding back sleeping, can make a dramatic difference. Second, reduce reliance on sleep medications. Instead, try chamomile or valerian tea, gentle evening stretches, or calming breathing exercises like the 4-7-8 method. Keep your room cool and dark. Limit screen time an hour before bed, and maintain a consistent sleep schedule even on weekends. These may seem like small changes, but together they can restore natural sleep rhythms and protect both mind and body. George, after 2 months of CPAP therapy and eliminating his nightly sedative, reported feeling sharper, more energized, and finally able to dream again. As Dr. Rowen closed his notebook after years of patient care, he left his community with one final reminder: sleep is not the absence of activity, it's the foundation of healing. In a world where aging often brings uncertainty, sleep remains one of the most powerful acts of self-preservation. Silent nights don't just offer peace, they save lives. What if the small choices you make tonight could decide how strong and clear your mind feels tomorrow? Think about it. Sleep is not a luxury for seniors. It is survival. If you are over 60, try just one change from this video tonight and see how your body responds. Maybe it is skipping that glass of water late at night or setting your room a few degrees cooler. These simple steps may feel small, but they build a longer, stronger life. If this helped you or someone you love, share it with them. Leave a comment below and tell us what habit have you changed for better sleep after 60. And do not forget to subscribe for more real stories and tips that protect your health every single night.